When buying a home in Canada, you need to be aware of one big fee you will be paying to the government, and that is land transfer tax. All provinces in Canada charge their land transfer tax except Alberta and Saskatchewan. These two provinces do not charge a tax. They charge a much smaller fee. In this video, you will be learning all about land transfer tax, what it is, how much you can expect to pay, and whether you are eligible for a refund. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Land transfer tax is exactly what it says. It's a tax that must be paid when land has been transferred from one owner to another. And this tax is paid by the buyer of a property. So when you are purchasing a property, you must pay land transfer tax to the province where the property is located at the time when the ownership of the property is being transferred from the previous owner to you. And the tax is paid at closing. Now, the most important part of this topic is figuring out how much the tax will be. Well, there are two components that determine the tax amount. The first component is the purchase price. The tax is calculated as a percentage of the purchase price, which means the higher the price, the higher the tax. The second component would be the province where the property is located. Each province has its own tax rates, and therefore the tax would be different for each province. Let's look at a real case scenario to see how the tax can be different for each province when comparing the same purchase price of $500,000. So let's put in $500,000 here as an example. Now, if this house was in Ontario, the tax would be $6,475. If located in BC, it would be $8,000. Or if located in Alberta, there would be no tax, only $420 transfer fee. Even though it says transfer tax here, this amount is in fact a fee, not a tax. Now, what if the buyer was a first-time home buyer? Okay, let's play with this calculator a bit. I'm going to check off this box, and as you can see, some provinces will provide a rebate. So if you are a first-time home buyer buying a property in Ontario, BC, or Prince Edward Island, I encourage you to learn more about your options or ask your real estate agent or your mortgage agent to help you out. Now I want to narrow down this broad information to one specific province. I'm going to show you numbers for Ontario on a property purchased for $800,000, which is close to an average home price in Ontario for December 2022. To show you how much the tax would be here, let's assume that the buyer is a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada. Here we have two options to choose from based on whether the home is in Toronto or outside of Toronto, simply because in Ontario there is not only provincial tax in place, but for Toronto purchases a municipal tax applies as well. We can start with buying outside of Toronto, and as I said, the purchase price is $800,000. For this $800K property, the total land transfer tax is $12,475. The second scenario is when the home is in Toronto, and when I click on the Toronto button, the result doubles because a municipal tax triggers as well. The formula to calculate both municipal and provincial tax is the same, hence the amount simply doubles. And the total of these two taxes here is $24,950. What if our buyer was a first-time home buyer purchasing outside of Toronto? So let's click the button outside Toronto and check this box off. I am a first-time home buyer. Now you see the tax went down to $8,475 because there is a new item in this equation, and it is a rebate of $4,000. Now, what if the home was in Toronto? The rebate increased by another $4,475 to the total rebate of $8,000 $16,475. And for this case, the total land transfer tax is $16,475. To be eligible for a refund, you must meet the following criteria. You must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada. You must be at least 18 years of age. You must occupy the home as your principal residence within 9 months of purchase. You cannot have owned the home anywhere in the world, and your spouse cannot have owned the home while being your spouse. For those who want to get the full breakdown of land transfer tax, I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video. You can go to this website, scroll down on this page, and you'll find the calculation for each province. And if you click on the province you are interested in learning more about, you can dive deeper for more information. The key takeaway from this video is that you do not have to be a tax expert when purchasing a home in Canada. But you should know about this huge expense and get ready to pay for it at closing. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you'd like to talk more about how I can possibly help you to find a home or help you with financing your purchase, use the link in the description of this video and book a call with me. I would love to talk to you. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.